This is the Donald Trump iceberg. The non-political one, of course, because we only have good vibes here, baby. So we're just looking at everything goofy and everything absolutely whack about this guy. I'm not taking any side. Tier 1 is stuff you probably already know, so we're skipping that. Like, he became president, he ran casinos, and he's rich as hell, baby. I'm taking leadership, and we're skipping to Tier 2. Tier 2, Trump. John Barron. So this one's weird because you definitely don't know about this, and it's like a huge lore drop. Trump has aliases, as in he has code names. Pseudonyms used by Donald Trump. This article is about the names that Donald Trump has used for himself. Trump used the alias John Barron throughout the 1980s, when Trump was under scrutiny, or in need of like a fake name for himself. On May 7th, an article by John Barron, aka Trump, vice president of Trump Organization, spawned rumors by himself of a $1 billion deal to buy the World Trade Center. Quote, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it is a possibility, end quote. Trump wrote that under a different name. This happened for the rest of the decade over and over. Trump, through his sock puppet, was telling me he owned in excess of 90% of Fred Trump's assets, which is, by the way, a lot of money, which amounted to $500 million. Was later found out that he was worth just under $5 million at the time. Trump eventually stopped using the pseudonym after he was compelled to testify in court proceedings that John Barron was one of the pseudonyms. But we have 3 more aliases. John Miller, Carolyn Gallego, David Dennison. In 1992, he used the pseudonym Carolyn Gallego to say that Carolyn Gallego, as his secretary, that she knew Trump treated women with respect. This is genius, by the way, because of who's gonna catch you. Everyone, actually. This letter resurfaced in a 2017 article in the Washingtonian, which highlighted similarities between patterns of repetition in Trump's speech and the final line in the letter, which read, I do not believe any man in America gets more calls from women wanting to see him, meet him, or go out with him. The most beautiful women, the most successful women. All women love Donald Trump. It's just insane glazing, and I have to respect it, bro. Next in Tier 2, the Trump Shuttle. So you might not know about this, but he bought like a failing airline route just to also let it fail again. At some point, Trump Airlines was an actual thing. This was in 1989. The quick little rundown TLDR is some guy who owned an airline that was failing, met Trump at a party and said, you want an airplane? And Trump said, I guess. And then he gave him a check for $365 million for a fleet of 17 airplanes. Also, I'm sure that's exactly how the interaction went down. I didn't simplify that in the slightest. Then in 1989, Northeast USA hit a recession while jet fuel prices doubled at the same time, in conjunction effectively killed the revenue of the airline. I guess if that did end up working out, we could be riding on a Trump airplane these days. I don't know, man, that's kind of weird. The Playboy cameo. So in 1999, he appears fully clothed in a Playboy softcore special introducing the models himself. I say cameo because that's kind of what people say, but actually he seems to be in cahoots with Playboy a lot around this time, and apparently was introducing or interviewing the models to actually come on to the modeling agency. But yeah, the whole Playboy thing doesn't really make sense. I mean, he did say himself, quote, he likes pretty women very much, which isn't saying much at all, but I mean, that's a pretty good reason to be in the Playboy magazine. That's a good way to meet pretty women. The modeling agency. So this is another weird side quest. So Trump Model Management hired young models and was accused of questionable visa practices before shutting down in 2017. It was actually doing well before it shut down. So again, really weird side quest. This guy is like a real estate mogul and like has like 2 other businesses that are doing really well, but to expand his horizons, he does a modeling agency. I guess because if it was in his name, it would be easier for him to sell fashion clothes, like at the time suits. So I guess it makes sense, but for some reason when I first saw Trump Modeling Agency, I thought it was just a bunch of pictures of him modeling, and I got really excited because I was like, I'm sorry, did he act? Okay, that sounds weird. I didn't get that excited, alright? But I thought it was funny. And then it was just a bunch of pictures of women. Darn. Again, he says he likes pretty women, so that's a pretty good reason to have a modeling agency. Trump University. And sorry, we are kind of just like speed running these things, but we have some really fun ones coming up. So we're just going to get past this one. Trump University was basically a real estate education program, and he was accused of scamming students with high pressure sales tactics. Lawsuits ended up with Trump paying a $25 million settlement. Now on to Trump NFTs. So this is, I wouldn't say the weirdest side quest of him, but it's one of the weirdest. And honestly, they kind of go hard. Like, this is kind of cool. This one is going for $293,000. A lower end going for $58,000. $29,000. Dude, holy. I mean, the guy does have like a kind of an insane brand. So if you're gonna launch like NFTs on anyone, it's gotta be Trump. Crazy side quest, but more importantly, it's sort of the beginning of like the deep Trump world. That's what I'll call it, the deep Trump world. Because following the next like 6 entries, you'll see how much you can actually get into being a die-hard Trump fan. Starting with Trump NFTs, and second, going to Trump vodka. So Trump launched a vodka brand in 2006. I guess his liquor brand failed, which is kind of crazy because like he's a really good businessman. Obviously, you kind of have to be worth $8 billion. But everything we've looked at so far has kind of failed, including Trump vodka. The thing is, Trump doesn't drink alcohol ever, so it made the brand really ironic. It's just so funny. I could just imagine like the uncle that's like super obsessed with politics, has like the MAGA hat on, he's just getting twisted on Trump liquor like America, baby. But I could imagine this at a White Elephant gift exchange would go hard at my family. But going deeper, you guys may have heard that Trump is a bit of a Catholic. If he follows that, I don't know. But now you could buy Trump NFTs, you could get twisted on Trump's juice, but let's go even deeper. The man has seated himself in religion. You may have heard he's a bit of a Catholic, but do you know he owns his own Bible? In 2021, Lee Greenwood first made the Trump Bible, I guess as sort of a gag thing, and Lee Greenwood is basically a country singer, and I guess he did it during like the elections to like cause hype and everything. Only a couple Bibles were printed and sold for this guy's profit, but I guess since it became popular, Trump himself actually picked it up and it became part of his brand in the 2024 election to start carrying around a Bible. You guys probably know about this for how widespread this like stunt was. For me, I never knew he had a Bible. On eBay, signed copies are going for $5,000. So yeah, another side quest completed, I guess. When you think about like building a brand, like for me, you know, I'm a YouTuber. I want to make this thing real big, and I got lots of ideas for what I'm gonna do. Bible never entered that for me. I don't want to make a little dingus Bible, all right? And it kind of shows the world that we live in, right? That no president before has ever done marketing stunts like this. You know, if there's a marketing stunt, it's gonna be like a certain slogan and start putting up stickers and posters and stuff for the US election. For Trump though, he's like making memes. He's like posting on Twitter all day. He's launching vodka brands, launching sneaker brands, making his own Bible. The fact that brand recognition and celebrity translates to electoral freaking political success is just an insane world to live in now. Like freaking Mom Donnie just launches his own like version of the Quran. I mean, he already won the election, but if he needs to do it again, I mean, it worked for Trump, man. Guys, if I branded a Bible, would you buy it? I'll brand a Bible, dude. Anything for money. I'll exploit religion for money, anything for money. All right, I'm taking this tie off. This is annoying. You know what? I'm gonna get comfortable. All right, I changed it to a bit more comfortable of a fit. What do you guys think? Okay, now Trump sneakers. This is a weird side quest. He launched Trump sneakers, and they are the most ugly, hideous things I've ever seen in my life. Just another random side quest, and yet an incredible marketing stunt. I love when he does these completely random side quests because it's just like a YouTuber product, but it's from a president. Like it makes no sense. Except it's almost always more absurd than a YouTuber product and somehow works better. And I'm getting bored, so I'll just throw everything else into the rest of the Trump world. So you can go to his website called the Trump Store. This makes it seem like there's also a physical location called the Trump Store, so I'd like to go there. If you are a MAGA fan, there is so much to get into. You will never run out of another product to buy from this guy. Quite frankly, I'll say it, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. And as you might know, he has like his iconic red tie, which is why I was wearing this red tie I thought you might get that Easter egg. If not, now you do, so I kind of ruined it. But he actually sells really long red ties here as well, and that was like a huge thing. I just find it interesting that no one talks about that, but he has an entire world out there that you can get into. Wow, the product photo isn't even him. Unbelievable. All right, so that's the Trump world. He's got his own little world that you can get into, or rather a massive world. But what's even better than having your own world? Ruling the world. Tier 3. Then he ruled the world. All right, sorry, I had to take a break for my third meal of the day. All 3 of them were chicken nuggets. If you watch this video, you know in that video I ate 2 meals that day, and both of them were chicken nuggets. So if you didn't notice already, this iceberg goes in chronological order. Normally it wouldn't go in chronological order. It would go from like the most surface level thing about whatever you're talking about, and then go deeper. The thing about Trump is when I put it in chronological order, it goes deeper naturally. So tier 3 is called Then He Ruled the World, because this is the part of his life where he started ruling the world. The golden escalator moment. This is sort of the kickoff when Trump became Trump. you know, the dancing on stage guy with his YMCA dance, beefing with everybody on Twitter. This is his sort of main character arc. In 2015, he had this golden escalator moment in his Trump casino, and he rides down the Trump Tower to announce his presidential run. Not much more to say about it, it's just that everything from this point out stems from this one moment. And then next comes the dreaded Twitter era. The Twitter era was basically between 2015 and 2021. Obviously, he still posts on Twitter all the time, but this was sort of the moment where he was just beefing with everyone. I'm sure you remember this. You have to. No one can ever forget this because it was like the craziest beefs happening that didn't have any business mixing. For example, Trump versus Kanye, where they loved each other until Kanye ran for president, and then Trump called him a troubled man for running for president, and then Kanye turned his back on him because of it. Both of them are like master beefers because Kanye is a rapper and Trump used to sell Trump steaks, so both of them are kind of like masters at beefing in their own way. That was stupid. Trump versus Taylor Swift. What? This is like the weirdest crossover, like two industries that should not mix. This is like if Fortnite and like The Simpsons or something. What, that happened? Well, Trump, the president of the United States of America, is just attacking a pop star merely because she doesn't like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. You think they're gonna go start beefing with old freaking, I don't know who was around that time. John Lennon? Frick, now I look stupid. Trump versus LeBron? LeBron James was just interviewed by the dumbest man on television. He made LeBron look smart, which isn't easy. This is the side of Trump that I really don't like. One of the most things that I hate about Trump. One of the most things. That's cool, okay. We're just gonna roll with that. So one of the most things that I really hate about this Trump guy is that he's just beefs with no one. Everyone for no reason. Cool. Can I talk, please? Basically, he'll beef with everybody for no reason, including my boy Mac Miller. I kind of like his music. I think some of Mac Miller's music is some of the best in the rap industry. So when I found out that he had beef with Trump, I was like, what? Wait, what? So Mac Miller basically made this song called Donald Trump, and Donald Trump actually saw it getting views and notoriety, and he responded. Take over the world when I'm on my Donald Trump. Look at all this money. It's not the greatest, his other songs are way better, but it did really well, as you can see. And at first, like, Donald Trump actually liked it and thought it was cool that his name was getting a bunch of numbers.
A lot of people are calling me about the Mac Miller rap song. Now, it's named Donald Trump. Maybe you should pay me a lot of money, but it just hit over 20 million people tuning in to Mac Miller. But this kid is the new Eminem. Everybody says he's fantastic.
This kid is the new Eminem. He doesn't even know what that means, but it's cool because at first he was like super supportive and everything, and then all of a sudden he just switched.
A young rapper named Mac Miller just did a song called Donald Trump, and I've just been told it hit over 54 million.
Now
I want some money, Mac. Give me some money. I'm entitled to 25% at least.
But apparently later, reportedly, he actually wanted to sue Mac Miller for using his name for some reason. And of course it doesn't work like that because you could totally just use someone else's name. If he made a song called Mac Miller, Mac Miller couldn't do anything, you know? So it's just kind of this era where like Trump, whether you like him or not, you didn't like him in this era because he's just beefing with people he doesn't need to beef with. Covfefe. I'm not even sure how you say this because it's not a real word, but next up on the Donald Trump iceberg is the word C-O-V-F-E-F-E. So Covfefe is an accidental tweet that became a super viral moment, and you can see it right here. May 31st on 2017, 12:06 a.m. Despite the constant negative press, Covfefe. The journalist Adrian LaFrance writes, Covfefe remains the tweet that best illustrates Trump's most preternatural gift. He knows how to captivate people, how to command and divert the attention of the masses. It was a typo, man. It was a typo. So it says here, Covfefe was retweeted more than 105,000 times and garnered more than 148,000 likes. The post was up for 6 hours. That's it. And as you can see, it has its own Wikipedia page. I just wanted to include this to show you how the guy can make a little typo and everybody latches onto it. Kind of like Elon could just tweet like, I'm pooping right now, and it would get like 1 million likes and people would be like, this guy's so funny. Next up, the Sharpie Hurricane Map. So the Sharpie Hurricane Map, also known as Sharpie Gate, it's so stupid, man. In September of 2019, Trump was basically commentating on named Hurricane Dorian, and he
basically predicted that it was going to hit Alabama. Trump told reporters that the storm was indeed threatening Alabama, and then over the following days, as the hurricane moved up the coast and Alabama felt no effects from it, Trump insisted repeatedly that he had been right about the hurricane threatening the state. And so then this happens. Live from the White House, he is giving an update on Hurricane Dorian, and you can see right here, the projection of this hurricane completely misses Alabama right here, but with a Sharpie, Trump writes in an extra extension on this graph to show that, oh no, it's gonna hit Alabama. So he basically didn't want to admit that he was wrong about it not hitting Alabama. And I've never heard of this before, so I absolutely had to include it. It's just so dumb. And from that point on, he would never admit that he was wrong about it hitting Alabama, even though it didn't hit Alabama. Truth Social, you know what Truth Social is. We're just gonna quickly do this. So Truth Social is Trump's own social media platform. Donald Trump felt that we were not getting freedom of speech in our social media, which, like, fair enough. And we probably still aren't. After he got banned off of Twitter, I can't even remember what for, he just went and started his own social media platform. It's called Truth Social. You've heard about it for sure, and there's probably so much more to explore. January 6th. I'm scared for this one. I don't want to go too deep into this because it gets way too heated, way too fast. But basically, if you don't know somehow what January 6th was, it was the day Trump was born. It's his birthday. So everybody wish him happy birthday on January 6th. It's coming up pretty soon. Up next, we got 2 impeachments in one term. So 2 impeachments in one term is really just that if you're looking at Donald Trump and want to understand him as a person, you have to understand that no other president other than him has gone and impeached twice. First time was over Ukraine pressure, but then second over January 6th. It's just insane that he's such a controversial guy that he's gotten impeached twice. Okay, next up, this one is a little weird actually, but Donald Trump Access Hollywood tape. It's a tape of he and Bush, but it was like released to like press coverage or whatever. So Trump described his attempt to seduce a married woman and indicated he might even start kissing a woman that he and Bush were about to meet. He added, "I don't even wait, and when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything." And then he followed up with a comment that I will not repeat now. He said some weird stuff on this tip, but that is some deep lore, and I probably should have put that in like a deeper tier of this. His mugshot, the Donald Trump mugshot. So in 2023, you probably already know this. I'll put the mugshot on. In 2023, he was taken into custody on charges of election racketeering, but he was completely acquitted later of all charges. And the mugshot from that time went absolutely viral. Essentially, it is speculated that his opponents were trying to kind of sabotage him and try to get voters to stop voting for him by painting him as like a criminal. So they indicted him on a bunch of charges that didn't really go through because they didn't have proof for them. They just wanted his mugshot in there for bad publicity. And for some reason, this super old guy, super out of touch, just knows how to make a meme. And so he took it, he made shirts out of it, he posted it on his Twitter, he took the mugshot, and he basically said, yeah, we won. It doesn't matter what, like, you know, what the Democrats try to do. We'll always be victorious, and look at my mugshot. And Donald Trump seems to be undefeated by absolutely anything, because even if other people attack him, literally, like, try to shoot him in the head, he still comes out on top no matter what. Which leads us to the next thing, the assassination attempt. This is the last thing in tier 3 before we get on to my favorite tier, tier 4. You have obviously heard about this. I mean, I don't think anyone in the world has heard about this, but if somehow you don't, Trump was giving a speech in July 2023 as part of his campaign and was shot at by 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, which is a hilarious last name for a crook, who fired 8 rounds from an AR-15 style rifle from a nearby building's roof. And when you're shot at 8 times from not that far away, you should be dead. You should be dead 8 times. But thankfully, the malnourished bottom-dwelling cave rat that couldn't hold a rifle to save his life missed every single shot except one. So he didn't die, but the guy got lucky with one single bullet, which hit his ear, sent blood everywhere, sent him to the floor. Coincidence? I think not. I think we may like to believe that, so it's a more believable thing that, oh, it's just a coincidence, but you should know by now that Trump is a godlike being with no less than superhuman abilities. He saw that bullet speeding towards him, and he decided to let it hit his ear to make a bit of a, inspiring performance. He dropped to the floor and played it off like nothing ever happened, like he didn't see that bullet coming due to his immense humility. I think we all know this. Come on, how about we just admit the truth, all right?
Tier 4.
let's talk about memes. Everything Trump does turns into a meme. Like everything. And we know from like the 2016 election, Trump and Hillary memes were all you saw at all everywhere. It was actually like really annoying how many memes there were. For example, assassination attempt. Here's just one random anime edit that someone made of the assassination attempt.
That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something...
Donald, you must move your head.
Shenzo, you died. And I'd never got the chance to say goodbye.
Donald, I don't say goodbye.
Couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said,
You want an insane nostalgia hit? 2016 election comes around, what do we see? Laser eyes Trump. One simple Google search, oh my gosh. Like who made this? Like a couple years ago, wasn't this just all the internet was pictures like this? Like he's just a goofy guy, you know? He's just a little goofy clown. For example, when Trump entered his meme arc, one of the first things was that he served fast food to champion teams. There was a government shutdown at this time that left the White House completely understaffed, so Trump served McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's to athletes.
And so I had a choice. Do we have no food for you? Because we have a shutdown.
So they had 1,000 hamburgers to the teams that they were hosting.
Burger King, Wendy's, and McDonald's.
For a billionaire president to be like, oh, well, we don't have food, how about some McDonald's? It just shows how normal of a guy he is. Like if you think about Trump, he's just like a random guy. And I'm not gonna say whether I support him or not, again, not getting political at all, but like whether you like him or not, he's kind of just like a random like billionaire. It's just kind of funny how politics works like that. And the guy like eats McDonald's. You know, Trump drinks like 14 Diet Cokes a day. That's gotta be so unhealthy for you. And as you can see, he really likes McDonald's. And his lore just keeps running deeper with him. For example, as you all have seen, serving at McDonald's. So this is him actually working at McDonald's and like doing the fries and serving people. Obviously, it was a huge publicity stunt because I guess Kamala Harris claimed that she had worked at McDonald's more to, you know, relate to the common peasant like you and I. And it turned out that she was lying, which in and of itself, hilarious. But then after that, Trump was like, oh, perfect opportunity. I'll just work at McDonald's and then I'll relate to the common man. So I guess this is a big publicity stunt. It's just kind of weird because it's so obviously a publicity stunt and nothing more. That's what I'd be saying. As we get more into the Donald Trump iceberg, you just see he goes on side quest after side quest, and he just comes up with these moments that completely memify themselves. I don't think there's another person who is so wealthy and influential in a domain that has nothing to do with the internet, transition to the internet, and completely take it over. The Diet Coke button. So the Diet Coke button is reportedly, he had a, not even reportedly, this is confirmed, he had a Diet Coke button on his desk. Probably most people, again, know about this. I just think it's so funny because it again shows how normal of a guy he is. Like, he didn't ask for some expensive cocktail. Like, he easily could have had it. The guy's worth like, what, $7 billion at the time? But instead, he chooses Diet Coke and McDonald's to eat all the time. I want buttons all over the place. Like, at some point when I got a ton of money, I'm gonna just have a bunch of buttons. I'm gonna keep a butler just like in a cage in my, that sounds bad. That's because it is bad. I'm gonna keep him in my basement, and then I'm just gonna have a bunch of buttons that I can press around like my office. I want Diet Coke, bring me some eggnog, rub my feet, you know, that kind of thing. Kind of funny that out of all of the buttons that you could have made do anything, he chose one for Diet Coke because he does drink that many a day. How many does he drink a day? 12 cans of Diet Coke every single day. The YMCA dance. This is another very small thing, but it just goes to show how literally everything he does is a meme. This is Donald Trump's dance that like literally makes no sense. So yeah, Trump is an absolute meme and he'll just break out a dance at any time. Okay, now finally coming to a crescendo on tier 4. It's the deepest part of tier 4. The handshake dominance analysis. Okay, here's the first part in the video where we get a little bit deep. Every tier from here on out is very deep. I mean, we'll get into like conspiracies and stuff, but here's kind of a deep meme. If you've ever seen Trump and his handshakes, he basically knows how to control the person that he's shaking hands with in a really weird way. You see, he'll like just yank someone towards him. He'll just yank their hands towards him. Boom, yank, like that. And many people have noticed that he does this and have broken it down. So it's become such a thing about Trump Trump, it has turned to full-on video essays about his handshake.
If you haven't seen it, here is Trump's 19-second handshake.
What is this? Please, look at me.
That's so unbelievably uncomfortable to be shaking someone's hand for 19 seconds. But it's not just about length. It's, you know, that was a pretty normal handshake, except for like the random hand patting. How he shakes hands is genuinely like a mystery. He like actually grabs his arm and just like, what do you do? What is he? And just one more thing that he does real quick. So sometimes he does this thing where he handshakes someone and bends their wrist upwards to make it uncomfortable for the other person. And the third thing he does is a random hand pat. So the first two are basically like super uncomfortable and meant to assert dominance. And it just shows how Trump like knows how to control everybody that he comes in contact with. It's weird watching him at work because he knows what he's doing. But then the third one, the hand tap, is also meant to control the other person, but it's not uncomfortable. It's like an assurance thing. He just like violates them and just like manhandles them, freaking jerks them around, and then he's just like, oh no, we're friends, okay, we're good. A 10-minute video essay breaking down how to mimic Trump's handshakes for yourself. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is tier 4. Now we only have 2 tiers left, and this is going to be the most interesting part of the video. We're just going to get into some really weird lore, and then we're going to get into conspiracies, which people lose their minds speculating with things about Donald Trump. Tier 5, the weirdest lore I could possibly find on Donald Trump. Tier 5, the weirdest lore. So before we get into like the weird conspiracies and stuff and people going absolutely insane, mainly on Reddit, of course, well. Before all that, we're just gonna learn about Trump lore, starting with the secret limo project. So Trump once partnered with Cadillac to make their own limo, the Trump Golden Series and the Trump Executive Series. The Executive was like high luxury, and the Gold was as well, but like less so. And so they were supposed to make 50 of each of these models. Well, they made prototypes of one model, prototype of another model, and so there was only 2 in existence before they decided to scrap it. Trump bought one for himself and Trump bought the other one for his dad. So now, one of the ultra rare cars is proudly displayed in the family-run Volo Auto Museum. I put this in lore because I feel like no one knows about like Trump steaks and Trump, even though they were like supposedly supposed to be really big things, but the secret limo project was specifically like no one knew about it until we started writing about it. What's more interesting is the thought that if all of Trump's like business ventures were actually successful, there would be a Trump limo just driving, like that would be a normal thing to see, is the Trump car. If the sneakers were super successful, we would see Trump sneakers on everybody's feet. And if the Trump Airlines were successful, probably my flight next month would be on Trump Airlines. Trump would own so many more things and his brand would be so bigger. So it's interesting seeing all of like the failed side quests, knowing that they didn't go through and that they could have. Limo is just weird because like the only other people that are going to buy limos are other like billionaires. And also, who wants a Trump brand limo? Like, why? It's a limo. It's supposed to be classy. You don't want Trump's name on it. Weird ideas from this Trump guy. Short-fingered vulgarian. This is the biggest show of pettiness from Trump yet. Okay, so here's the rundown. Spy magazine basically insulted Trump for being small thumbs. Like, they said he had small thumbs. It started with them saying it once, and Trump fired back. He sent him an angry letter back. So they said it again, and then again, and it became an ongoing joke, and consistently it actually rage baited Donald Trump. And decades, mind you what I just said, decade, as in like 20-30 years, Trump kept sending angry letters to them with pictures of his thumbs going, look, they're not small. In 1988, when Carter, then at Spy magazine, called him a short-fingered vulgarian, the joke stuck and Trump hated it so much he kept mailing Carter photos of his hands, sometimes with gold Sharpie circles and notes like, see, not so short. Carter always replied that they still looked stubby. It's just so stupid. Okay, it keeps going. The rivalry continued for decades, resurfacing whenever Vanity Fair mocked Trump, especially after its brutal review of the Trump girl. The feud even spilled into the 2016 GOP debate when Trump defended his hand size on national TV unprompted, as in small hands were not a part of the conversation at all, and Trump thought it would be a good idea to defend that his fingers weren't small on live TV. According to Carter, Trump still occasionally sends hand photos, proving the joke continues to live rent-free in Trump's mind. How do you get so stuck inside of someone so powerful's mind? You know, you just have to think, like, at a certain point when you've become president twice, when you've reached like $6 or $7 billion, like there's a point where those things don't stick to you because your ego's already big enough. You don't need validation from some guy calling you a short-fingered vulgarian. But apparently that insecurities persist after all that even though he obviously doesn't have short thumbs, he still gets mad at it. Tiffany and Co. Trump has a daughter. Her name is Tiffany, and she was named Tiffany because Trump Tower was built next to a business called Tiffany and Co. And he considered the brand so valuable and prestigious that he named his daughter after the company. I don't really know what this says about Trump, but because it seems like all of his other children's names are completely normal. That being said though, I feel like this whole thing kind of gives Trump more credit that he's a good namer, because you know he's close friends with Elon, and that guy has some insane baby names. Elon's children: Nevada Alexander, Vivian Jenna, Griffin, Kai, Saxon, Damien, XAEA12? I don't even know what that means. Those are words that don't exist. What is this letter? What is this even named after? Exadarchsidereal? Again, letters that don't exist. What is that right there? Exadarchsidereal Musk. Strider Sekhar Sirius. Astra Techno Tau Mechanicus. Mechanicus? Wait, Techno! That's Techno's reincarnation! Oh, Musk must be a Minecraft fan. That's so sick, dude. I'm naming my child after Technoblade. Arcadia Romulus and Selden Lycurgus Musk. What is this guy on? Anyways, this isn't about Elon Musk. Actually, no, we have one more rabbit hole to go down to. Baby named Side Rant, Trisha Paytas. If you don't know this lady, I might make an entire video about her, but she has children names that are also completely off the rails. One kid, Malibu Barbie. Another one is Elvis, and the last one is Aquaman Moses. Aquaman Moses. You need help. Anyways, on the Trump iceberg, almost on tier 6 now, but the last on tier 5 is his numerous cameos. Let's just go through some. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, number 1. The Job, number 2. Both wildly successful TV shows. Suddenly Susan, number 3. Sex and the City, number 4. The Drew Carey Show, number 5. 2 Weeks Notice, number 6. Spin City, number 7. The Nanny, number 8. The Associate, number 9. The Little Rascals, number 10. Zoolander, number 11. And my personal favorite, Home Alone 2, number 12. And then in WWE, where he's just beating some guy up. I don't know what the heck is happening here. So he's just kind of walking around here, the main character.
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
Trump like looks back like, huh? Wait, what? Why is a kid just, wait, is he supposed to be here? And now for the very final tier. I think this actually might be my favorite. I know I said tier 4 was. This might be my favorite.
Tier 6 Conspiracies.
I'm about to blow your mind. You will not believe the conspiracies that come about Trump. First on the list, the Trump time travel theory. So there's a 19th century novel that features a boy named Barron Trump, just like Trump's actual son Barron Trump, guided by a mentor named Don. Huh. Weird coincidence. And I guess some groups tie this to Tesla legends and Trump's uncle, who apparently handled Tesla's papers, as in Nikola Tesla. And it may be hard to believe, but it's a bit of a weird coincidence that there's a novel right around the time of Nikola Tesla that features Barron Trump and Don. Apparently they got some other weird similarities as well, and supposedly they just went back and left that one piece of, wait, actually now it's starting to fall apart. See, if they were gonna go back in time travel, it would kind of explain how they got so freaking rich. Because I mean, if you're gonna time travel, you're inevitably gonna get insane wealth, and the whole family is like insanely wealthy. But then again, if you were to travel back in time, is what you would do insert yourself into a random novel of the time and do nothing else that would leave your name in the past? But if you think this is hard to believe and kind of insane that people would actually be perpetuating this, you have no idea. The bulletproof suit theories. People online claimed that Trump wears hidden armored suits because of the shape of his jackets. So if you look at Trump's jackets, they are a little bit weirdly shaped. Like, he specifically has very large shoulder pads, he wears a very long tie, he has some interesting choice of clothing. And people have speculated, okay, allegedly here, nothing's confirmed, that Trump supposedly wears bulletproof suits, which kinda would make sense. I mean, we saw from the assassination attempt, he actually might kinda need that. At the same time, there'd have to be some pretty high-tech suits to, first of all, protect him, second of all, not weigh him down enough to make him fall over. I don't know, he's old, I don't know. And third of all, that yes, while it does look bulky, it would be way more bulky if it was a bulletproof suit. But you might be wondering, how did people come to this conclusion? I guess in the shape of his actual suits, but during the assassination, there was a weird angle that someone took that kind of looked like there was a bullet hole in Trump's suit. It kind of looked like there was a bullet that hit him there, somehow didn't, you know, actually go into Trump himself, but evidently left a hole on his suit. That's weird. That would only happen if he had a bulletproof suit. Again, it doesn't make sense. All 8 of the bullets were recovered. It's kind of like that thing of like, well, you can't knock it until you've proven it wrong. It's like, okay, then yeah, I'm just gonna be like, conspiracy, Trump's a girl. And until we see his penis, we're not gonna know it's not true. You see, like, you could come up with any conspiracy and it could technically be maybe true if you can't like prove it wrong yet. What are we gonna do? Start shooting the guy in the chest and see if it goes through? Do you want to do that? Don't answer that. Half you do. Secret Midwest penthouse myth. So this one's just a complete myth, and I actually don't know how it started. I also can't really find many people that were talking about it, but I know that at some point, people were claiming that he built a secret golden penthouse in the Midwest. There's no evidence for this at all. It's purely just internet speculation that caught on because people will believe absolutely anything. My bad if I don't provide like a Reddit of people talking about it. It's really hard to find it, and I can't remember where I saw it. Project Alamo. So this is a very interesting one. There's a real 2016 micro-targeting operation using Facebook data for targeted, personalized ads. Okay, if that made no sense, relatable. In 2016, Trump was campaigning at this time for the upcoming election, and he wanted to make sure that the ads being served to people on social media were hyper-personalized. So Project Alamo was he basically paid this company to do a bunch of research and do hyper-personalized ads to each user and then make it therefore more effective. It's a little bit weird, but we already know it happens, and there's technically nothing wrong with it, nothing even morally wrong. Every political leader does this. And people have speculated, and yes, the speculation goes really deep, I'm not gonna get into it, but in a nutshell, they've speculated that the whole thing was a mind control operation. I think this partially comes from the distrust of social media platforms because they do pull this crap all the time, but also just people thinking that everything Trump does is just fueled out of evil and they want like an alternative narrative to believe. And so people just believe like, yeah, he was probably just controlling minds, man. Like, what else are we gonna do about it? Like, isn't it obvious the guy's serving ads that are personalized? Who even does that? He's obviously trying to get me to vote for him. And oh, yeah, that's it. Actually, he said that. That's exactly what it is. It was a campaign tool with no proof that it was ever a mind control thing. I just thought I'd include that in case you came across it, didn't understand what some crazy loony was talking about, and fell for it. At least in that case, Trump hasn't mind controlled anyone. But maybe controlling weather satellites theory. So you've probably heard this in many different contexts, but people have particularly speculated that Trump controls the weather while he's president. They believe that Trump can deflect storms with a certain large weapon. I don't really know where they get this from, and I purposely didn't look into it because not worth my time, but it's a big thing that, again, if you come across it, there has apparently been no actual proof. But hey, research it for yourself. It would be interesting though if we could actually control the weather. Do satellites actually control the weather in any way? I don't know. There's a lot of different theories about this. So it's not a Trump specific thing, but there have been many instances where I've seen people just being like, see, Trump's controlling the weather, but that doesn't even make sense, because if you think about it, if Trump was controlling the weather, Sharpiegate never would have happened. If Trump controlled the weather, you know that he would have screwed Alabama over with that hurricane to make him right. He would have never had to draw that Sharpie mark on there. To be clear, that's not because I think he wants to end lives. I'm just making a joke. Reincarnation of Patton. I think I'm saying that right, Patton. So certain groups believe, this is where we get real loony, Trump is the spiritual reincarnation of World War II General Patton. Oh yeah, he actually does look really similar, these two guys. They actually look really similar, oh my gosh. Donald Trump, ironically, is the reincarnation of General George Patton. This is a well-known fact in upper circles. Yeah, up in our circles, up in the circles that are upper, we know this. It's common knowledge here. I believe as well Trump was also General George Custer, freedom fighter. Huh? I don't even know what this guy's on about. Looks like General Patton was reincarnated in Trump with a Twitter account. So, never heard of Twitter, but I have been trying to expand my social media horizons. I don't know, man. People are completely crazy. Greenland conspiracy aftermath. So I guess after Trump tried to buy Greenland, a bunch of people were speculating that it was more than just like real estate, right? And obviously it's not just real estate. Like there's oil there or minerals or something. I don't know. I mean, it's a valuable piece of property if you can actually mine on it, but just Greenland hasn't done that yet. But beyond just regular resources, people have speculated, allegedly, that he's trying to get back to all of the World War II bunkers that are hidden there. And also for extraterrestrial reasons. So, thought I'd just drop that bomb on you. Dropped a bomb and then another bomb. Like Nagasaki. Listen to this moron on Reddit. Okay, so Trump keeps bringing up buying Greenland again. He's calling it an absolute necessity for national security and global freedom. When he says stuff like that, it always feels like there's something he knows that we don't. So, I started digging. First off, yeah, Greenland makes sense militarily, blah, 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 blah. He goes on to explain that, but this goes deeper. Trump's a narcissist. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as a fact. I love the way he put that. You're fat. I mean, I don't mean that as an insult, of course. I just mean it as a fact. Wow, what a freaking, that's a bomb to drop. Just be like, no, I wasn't meaning it in a mean way. It's just that I'm right. If alien contact is imminent, and let's be honest, the conversations around that are starting to get louder, not quieter. Trump isn't the type to sit back and let someone else, whether it's the UN, Russia, or China, take credit for humanity's first handshake with aliens. He'd want to be the guy standing there, chest puffed out, making some speech about humanity's greatest leap into the stars with his name stamped all over it. It's funny how anytime someone mentions Trump's name, there's just Trump hate seething out of whatever it is, no matter what. Like, any shot has to be taken. Again, not trying to get political, but I just feel like we hate Trump so much that we can't just look at something he does and go, oh yeah, he was making a military strategic position to like buy a piece of land that would make sense to fortify America. It's like, no, he was just trying to be a narcissist, so when the aliens comes, he's gonna meet them. That's how they get you. Now, remember that Israeli space security chief, Haim Ashed? The guy who straight up said there's a galactic federation and that humans have been in contact with extraterrestrials for years, but that we're not ready for it yet? That guy wasn't some random conspiracy theorist in a tinfoil hat. He was a respected government official. Yeah, because the two definitely can't be different. If Trump has even an inkling that this is true, Greenland makes perfect sense as a preparation site. Think about it. 1. Remote and isolated. You could set up staging grounds, energy facilities, or experimental tech sites without prying eyes. 2. It's resource rich. The minerals are there for whatever tech or infrastructure is needed. And 3. Strategically positioned. Arctic access, defense positioning, it's the perfect stronghold. And maybe it's getting boring, so I'll just wrap it up with this. And if 0-point technology becomes real, if that's what alien contact eventually brings into play, those minerals aren't just important, they're critical. Trump's entire move here feels like a long-term power grab. It's just like, what? If you want to believe something bad about someone, you can always just make up a conspiracy and then take any sort of leading indicators to match what you've already assumed is true. That's the thing about conspiracy theories, is that so many people believe them. Like this top comment, this is the type of political conspiracy I'm here for. This was really well thought out. And you're just like, huh? Not thought out at all. There's like a million different explanations for it that don't have to do with aliens for why Trump would buy Greenland. Like, he simply wants the property because it's valuable. You just said it's resource rich and military strategic for a reason, but then you're like, man, it probably has to do with the aliens. He probably just wants to shake hands with like extraterrestrials or something. Let's be honest, it's Trump. Nothing he does is out of pure motive that is obviously identifiable. It's also funny, like, paint it in a bad picture that he would like want to be the first one shaking aliens' hands. Like, isn't that what you'd do too? Like, if aliens came to Earth and they were like trying to meet someone, I would do the same thing. I don't think I'm a narcissist, but I guess I would like to be the first guy to shake hands with the aliens when they come. So actually, if that's Trump's motive, I totally respect it. I would hope that America is the first one shaking aliens' hands. That's kind of sick. But of course, as we all know, aliens, that's stupid talk. They're not gonna come down from the sky. They're already in the ground, in Agartha, the lost city that is of the hollow earth. If you haven't gone down that rabbit hole, do it. It's stupid. And for some reason, other Greenland's conspiracies as well. What are they hiding in Greenland? Recently, I was on Google Earth and noticed Greenland has blacked out areas. This prompted old memories of me in elementary school, exploring Google Earth and observing that strange object exactly where blacked out area was. It was miles long and definitely not some glitch. This was back in the day where Greenland wasn't whited out. When you actually go on Google Earth, he says he found this weird 88-kilometer long thing. Definitely very interesting, and Greenland is supposedly home to a lot of conspiracies because it's a very secluded place to do whatever you want. So that was definitely the largest entry, but moving on in the tier 6 conspiracies, QAnon. So QAnon, and I think that's how you spell it, is a far-right American political conspiracy theory and political movement that originated in 2017. This thing, by the way, goes super deep, and it actually gets to like some scary levels, but at a baseline, this whole thing, QAnon, started with the guy named Q, claiming that he was a high-up government official. And the core belief is that the entire government is a deep state cabal of satanic, cannibalistic child and they're in with all of the deep state guys operating a global child bad thing trafficking ring. I think you get the idea. I don't want to get demonetized. And that Donald Trump is secretly leading the fight against this satanic cabal of child thingers. I'm not, you get the idea. And this all started with some guy named Q just posting all of this on the internet and people just being like, yeah, actually this guy's kind of like spinning some facts right now. So this is the internet. Just by saying that he was a high up government official, people just believed it, because I think people want to believe that the government is evil in every way. Regardless, even though this is probably the thing that I could go the deepest on, I'm actually going to make it the shortest entry here because QAnon can get really scary. It's actually been named a cult now because people have a cult-like following to this thing, and it's going to become like a religious movement to people that believe it. Followers have also falsely claimed that 5G cellular networks are spreading the coronavirus and promoted the 9/11 truther movement. So again, more conspiracy theories, not going to get deeply into those, but I think we all know they're true. I mean, you'd be stupid to think that 5G cellular towers don't promote the coronavirus. Like, obvious much? All right. Alien meetings and Tesla technology stories. So there are conspiracies that Trump has access to UFO files or secret alien tech like Tesla-based free energy. The whole conspiracy is that Trump basically has access to like insane energy and like weird alien tech, and this overlaps with the free energy suppression conspiracy theory. The free energy suppression conspiracy theory is a conspiracy theory that technologically viable, pollution-free, no-cost energy sources exist but are being suppressed by governments, corporations, or advocacy groups. And these devices supposedly include perpetual motion machines, cold fusion generators, reverse engineered extraterrestrial technology, anti-gravity propulsion systems, and other generally unproven or physically impossible energy sources. Now, with that being said, that idea of free energy suppression bleeds over into Trump, and they believe that Trump has access to these literally impossible pieces of machinery that will produce endless energy for everyone here on Earth, and that he's gatekeeping them in order to gain power. But we have two more. So first of all, we got the gold-plated jet fleet. This one's kind of small. It's just the idea that Trump secretly owns a fleet of gold-plated jets that no one really knows about, part of his lore in conspiratorial or meme-heavy spaces. People have allegedly claimed to actually know about and have seen this gold-plated jet fleet, but I feel like knowing Trump, he would be flexing this jet fleet all the time, just because, that's what you do when you're rich. You flex everything that you own. But that one's a bit stupider. The other one is just insane, and I honestly have nothing to show for this one. Telepathic Trump messages. So some weird people claim that Trump sends them mental messages or visions in dreams. Obviously, with something this psychotic and loony, it's more in like conspiratorial micro communities is what they call them. And people have claimed that Trump sends them telepathic messages. Martha Crawford had her first Trump dream in 2015. In it, a friend who was going out of town and on business asked her to check on his apartment while he was away. The address he gave led to an apartment on the top floor of a 6-story building where, on the sofa, illuminated by the glaze of an enormous television, she said, Donald Trump, in a large adult diaper, sat sleeping with his chest on his chin. Obviously, already off to a weird start. She watched Trump sleeping for a while, then filled a large metal dog bowl with kibble and slipped it across the table. When Trump awoke, he began gobbling loudly with his mouth open. Crawford was alternately filled with disgust and then flooded with pity. This was to be the first in her collection of Trump dreams. First of all, what the hell are you smoking? Actually, I can't really say anything. My dreams get even weirder than that. So this lady named Crawford had been a clinical social worker and a psychotherapist in New York for 25 years. And so she noticed that her clients were reporting dreams with Donald Trump in a way that's not common for other presidencies. He was a looming figure in people's psyches. Obviously, this could just be chalked up to the fact that politics is getting so much louder and so much bigger and so much scarier in most people's minds, but regardless, she noticed that maybe these are telepathic, maybe these dreams mean something. Well, it interested her enough to start a forum where people could post Trump dreams anonymously. And then she started gathering dreams from social media. Soon, she had 3,000 dreams. And many of these dreams, people were claiming that they were visions from Trump. It's insane how many loony, weird people are actually out there that believe they have like visions from weird people. But in this case, Trump apparently gave people visions. I haven't gotten one yet. Trump, please hit me up because that'd be kind of sick. If you can like control what you actually send me, maybe we could play some Fortnite together. There were many dreams about food, dreams of Trump at McDonald's, or dreams where he makes olives illegal because he thinks they are weird. Honestly, if he did that, I wouldn't mind. I think olives are weird too. They're freaking, I don't get why people like them. Thank you for stopping by the channel. Hopefully this thing grows. Yay, I finally got monetized recently and I love you. Bye-bye. Click on the next video on screen because let's be honest, you have nothing better to do anyways. And that concludes part 1 of this iceberg video. Go ahead and join the Discord server. I'm really trying to grow that and make it the weirdest Discord server out there. We can do it.